I previously made some videos showing alternatives to the cheap Hot Wheels main lines like this one, and what you could buy if you can't find the main lines at regular store prices. So we're talking scalper prices. However, that video doesn't really cover premium Hot Wheels, such as this one. So in terms of premium Hot Wheels, the alternatives are going to be different because the scalper prices are different. So first, let me say that if you're able to buy the premium Hot Wheels at the regular store price, then you're just not going to beat this at $6.50, $7.50, $8. It's the best buy. It's the best you can get for that price. The problem, of course, is when scalpers take them all and then they sell them online and you're paying $20 or even $30 with shipping. If you're hitting those ranges, you don't have to actually buy from scalpers. You could just look at other brands. And today I'm going to show you two alternative brands to Hot Wheels Premium when it comes to scalper prices. And I'm going to use the Nissan Skyline GTR to make my point today, because there's a lot of hype around this car and it's one of the cars that scalpers like to take, and many people can't find this car. So I thought I'd use this car specifically to show that you can get brands other than Hot Wheels. I just want to say that this video is not for the people who suffer from Hot Wheels psychosis. What should I call this? So I'm Dr. Layman, right? And Dr. Layman will diagnose them with HPD, right? Should I call it HPD or should I call it syndrome? Hot Wheels Psychosis Syndrome, HPS. Okay, if you have HPD or HPS, you're one of those people that, will pick up a car. You don't actually really know if you like it. And you ask the question, is this a good one? Is this a chase? So if you're one of those people, I don't know if this video is really for you, because I am into the actual car, not the brand and not the value, So if you're obsessing over the blister and whether or not it's a chase and how much it's worth and how much it's valued at, and you plan to sell these, for triple the price when you're like 60, 70 years old, this video really is not for you. This video is for someone who just likes the GTR and wants to have a diecast GTR and can't find one at a decent, affordable price because the scalpers are taking the Hot Wheels. So that's who this video is for. And if you can't appreciate other brands, then just turn off the video. And by the way, I paid less than $15 for each one of these cars. I have the R32, the R33, and the R34. They're all premiums. They're all better than Hot Wheels Premium, and I paid less than $15 for each of them. This one is just a regular Hot Wheels Premium. I don't remember the exact Walmart price. I want to say something like $7, right? And then maybe the tax added onto that. I'm not 100% sure, but it's kind of a range. It's how I think. I think in terms of ranges. So if I go in, I'm like, okay, so it's $10 or less is what I'll pay for the premium, right? And then I don't pay much attention to whether it's $8 or $9, right? Because I've set my value at $10 for a Hot Wheels Premium. So for sure, I got this for under $10, but I don't actually remember the exact price. I'd like to open this one up, but I'm going to give it to someone. So I think it would make a great gift to someone I used to play. I don't know how old the people watching this video are, but Gran Turismo is a very old game. This is a GT7. Let's start with the R32. This is a 2.6. So if you guys are watching this, you probably already know, but the Skyline came in a 4-door and a 2-door, and this is the 2-door coupe, right? So this came as a 2.6 liter twin turbo, right? However, this is actually the top secret model. So the top secret model R32 was not a 2.6. It was a 2.8 liter and something like 600 horsepower. So not only did I get the R32 in a premium for less than what the scalpers are selling the Hot Wheels for, but I got the special one. Find Mini GT or Pop Race. And Pop Race is going to be a little bit more expensive because Pop Race... So let me show you the features now. Pop Race, you can open the hood. You could look under the hood here. And this is really nice. Look at that. Look at that brace there. You see that? And you could see pretty much everything. Let me see if I could make this a little brighter for you to see. So Hot Wheels doesn't give you this, right? If Hot Wheels was to ever release this 400R like this, where you could open it front and back, and this level of detail, it would probably be like a super special, exclusive that only special members can get, right? It would just be really crazy. And people would have a hard time getting it. So Mattel has this whole marketing thing. Now you can find other brands and other versions and other lines where you have moving parts where you could like open doors and stuff like that. But in terms of these three cars here, only the Pop Race opens up, only my R33. So this is one feature here that's very nice. Let's go back then and look at the other two, and let's start with the bottom. Let's start with the wheels. They all have rubber. First of all, the rims are very nice. I would argue better than Hot Wheels rims, but Hot Wheels has many different types of rims and a lot of them look very nice too. So, but this one, really nice rims. This is the color. So the R34 here, this is a very popular and famous car from its era. And this is the color, this deep midnight purple with the golden rims. I mean, this is an amazing color here. So you have the wheels and you have this one, and this is my favorite one. Look at these wheels. These are really nice, right? So the Pop Race one is superior to the other two. However, they're all really good, and they all have rubber. So they all have rubber tires, rubber tires, rubber tires, and the R32 top secret rubber tires, right? So as far as that, that's nice. As far as the paint, better than Hot Wheels Premium. All three have superior quality paint. As far as the metal, nice and heavy, right? So this is not like Tomica Premium. These are a little bit better. You know, you could feel it just by holding it. And as far as the detail, I would argue, again, superior to Hot Wheels Premium. So why would you pay? I'm just going to move these cars around and show you the detail on them, right? Why would you pay for a Hot Wheels Premium? Why would you pay like $20, $30 with shipping to the Scalpers for a Skyline just because everybody else wants the Skyline? Just because Hot Wheels is, you know, valued at a certain amount. You're not going to retire on Hot Wheels. I mean, what are you going to do? Keep it for 10, 15 years and then sell it for, how much are you going to sell it for? Check out the R32 here, the top secret. Look at that detail. Look how nice that is. The plate, the exhaust, the lights. And this metallic blue is just so beautiful. What a beautiful car. And finally, I'm going to show you the R34. And as I said, this is like the car, right, in terms of performance. Although, to be honest, I would argue that the 400R is better. So the R33 400R, I would rather drive that than drive the R34 Tommy. But hey, I'll take anything, really. I'll take any Skyline. If you look at the headlights here, they have the, you know, acrylic or plastic or whatever it is. But this is what Majorette does. They have like that light effect. So it actually looks like a headlight. Let me show you the R33 as well. So look at that. That gives it such a nice realistic look. And they do this front and back. So Majorette will often do this only in the front. And then you'll see it on some Hot Wheels and some Matchbox in the front. But with these cars, they really are more premium. So you get just a very nice light effect. Right now, the Hot Wheels, this one in particular, is actually just painted. And it's not bad. It's not a bad paint job. There is one thing that I don't like about these cars relative to Hot Wheels, and that is the mirrors. The mirrors on these cars are like rubber. So look at that. They're so flimsy and so weak, right? So if you look at all these cars, they're all the same. This is the Pop Race one. It's not part of the metal casting. Look at that. This is just so stupid. So you have to be careful because they could break off. With Hot Wheels, you know, sometimes you get mirrors, sometimes you don't. So if you look at this one, the card art has mirrors. However, the car does not have mirrors. So notice here, this R34 has no mirrors. And yet, if you look at the card art, you got mirrors. So that's something I don't like. And one thing you may not like, which I like, is the fact that they come in these boxes. So here's my R34. It comes in this mini GT box. Here is the R32. It comes in this mini GT box. And here's the box for the Pop Race R33 400, right? So I like the boxes because I like to be able to put the cars away. Like if I need to put them away for whatever reason, they're protected, and maybe, you know, pass them on to someone else or whatever. You still feel like you have something to protect the car and you don't have to buy. So they come, where are the, okay. So they come like in this, right? So they come in these things. So you know, you put the car back in, you close it up and you put it back in the box. And it's as good as new, assuming you take care of your stuff. So I'm not one of those people. You ever see the people with the gloves? They're handling their Hot Wheels with gloves. I'm sorry, you know, I know I'm making fun of a lot of people here, but to me, that's just ridiculous. It's a freaking toy. Come on, right? You're not fixing a transmission here. But they're very obsessive about their fingerprints, right? Like, oh no, don't get your fingerprints all over my car, right? So I'm not one of those people, but I do like to have the box just to keep it in good condition. I don't really like the card system that much. I think, again, it goes back to like a certain psychological thing going on, you know, where you kind of obsess over the card and this whole idea of like hanging it on the wall, never taking it out of the blister. And if you like to do that, that's perfectly fine, but it doesn't actually make sense to me personally, because if I really like this car and I really want to hang something on the wall, I could print any size. I could make it this size, I could make it bigger, I could make it smaller, I could print this car, many other cars, any kind of angle. I could find the photo, I could take it to a print shop, get it on a poster, get it on a cardboard, get it on photo paper, and I could just hang it up, right? So I don't actually really need the card of Hot Wheels. And I think there's again, Mattel knows what they're doing with the card art, the whole card art thing. You know, if you're into that, that's great, you know, hang it on your wall, look at it, amazing. But I think they know, that it's also kind of a psychological thing where it makes you want. So you might already have this car, right? But then you want one carded, right? So you have an open one and then like a carded one. So you buy two, right? One to hang, one to open, one to keep, one to open, right? How many times have you heard that, right? That's a marketing thing. That's how they get you to buy two, right? So anyway, to each their own. Whatever floats your boat, right? Whatever tickles your fancy, and so on and so forth. I just wanted to show the alternatives. So one more time, you're not going to beat this at $7. It's just a very good buy at $7. But due to the scalping culture and a lot of people complaining, I thought I would show what you can get for $15 or less. But let's say $20. Let's say you're paying even $30 for these. They are better than the Hot Wheels Premium, when this Hot Wheels Premium is $30 due to the scalpers.